Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Jay Encarnacion, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are thrilled to have Dr. Dan Flint, partner and president of NeeBees Consulting USA. Dr. Flint brings a fascinating mix of expertise in applied psychology, neuroscience, leadership, and sales with over 25 years of experience as a U.S. Navy veteran, former chair professor, and consultant generating impact across industries. Based in Knoxville, Tennessee, NeeBees Consulting, founded in 2011, along with its U.S. brand Linchpin Skills, is revolutionizing how business professionals, leaders, and sales teams operate at peak performance through conscious, neuroscience-backed coaching and capability building. We'll be exploring his journey, how his business empowers clients in the leadership and sales space, and his vision for scaling this impact-driven venture. So with that being said, let's dive right into it. Dan, welcome to Founders Future.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jay. Appreciate being here. Thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely. An absolute pleasure and an honor. And thank you so much for your service, Dan. I truly know it's going to be a great conversation that our listeners are going to love. So if you can take us back to the beginning, Dan, what specific problem in the leadership and sales coaching landscape really inspired you to join and lead NeeBees Consulting?
Yeah, really good question, Jay. My background has three components to it: military, like you recommended, or like you commented on, my exposure to the corporate world. And then as an academic, I was a professor for a long time in business. And over that time period, working with a lot of leaders and managers, what I discovered is people who are highly intelligent, really technically competent in a specific area, spend most of their careers mastering that craft, mastering being an engineer or scientist or a lawyer or a medical doctor. But what they lacked was the leadership capabilities, the social skills, the engagement skills to lead. And they find themselves in leadership positions, but they're ill-equipped. And coming out of that kind of background with engineering undergrad and being a sales engineer, I thought I could maybe make a dent in solving that problem. There are plenty of leadership programs out there, but having leadership experience and research the area as an academic, I think I had exposure to multiple areas that I can bring together. So I just saw there being a gap. And within inside that, a passion of mine are people who are high functioning autism, neurodivergent, ADHD. That core group tends to have this challenge more than others. So at the core, I love working with those people as well and help them find their way through leadership.
Incredible. Incredible. So I definitely want to get into that a bit now. So it sounds really working with neurodivergent, and that's the key piece in the leadership there. So really walk us through the core offer here for NeeBees and Linchpin Skills. How are you generating revenue today with the businesses? I know that you're doing tailored coaching programs, capability building workshops, sales consultancy. And then again, you touched a bit on the ICP, but who is the exact ICP that these offers are for?
Yeah, so currently the way we're positioning it right now is towards relatively technical people who are mid-level managers or senior leaders who are moving into executive ranks. So they want to hone and polish their leadership skills. So they have a foundation already. We're not really working a lot with people just trying to move into their first leadership position, although we have a few clients like that. But mostly where people have to have struggled and found that they're in pain. They need help. They've tried things and they don't work. So they usually come to me or my partner who's in Europe to help them hone those leadership skills to have better impact and a more positive outlook on themselves and their teams.
I love it. I love it. So with that, around the offers that you have there, what would you say is pretty much the primary offer that you're seeing a lot of your clients be attracted toward? Is it the coaching? Is it the workshops, the consultancy? What do you say?
Yeah, it's the coaching. Yeah, the coaching and the online content. So I used to do for years and years, I was doing workshops and training and process improvement and consulting like that. And I've honed that, tightened it up, and narrowed it down to online coaching with online content. So it's one-on-one and group coaching plus online content, which could be consumed like a course, but it's actually more like a library of material.
Amazing. I mean, and I think that's the biggest piece to scale as well. And what I've seen so much on the show of being able to have that online aspect, that course aspect, the group aspect is phenomenal to be able to scale and grow. So with that being said, and knowing that you have that mentality of growing the business even more, what's
Mhm.
the acquisition side really looking like right now? What channels are most effective, whether it's the ads that you're running, social media, referrals, events? Talk us through that and talk us through some challenges you're having on that front.
Yeah, I think the original challenge was recognizing the simplification was really the answer, was narrowing down our focus, not trying to do everything LinkedIn, references, referrals, all that kind of thing. So really, I use social media organically, primarily TikTok with reposting to Instagram and YouTube Shorts, sometimes posting on LinkedIn. But really, it's social media and posting multiple times a day and not stopping. That generates enough leads at the top of the funnel to lead to sales calls and then do the fulfillment side. But really, the business model is very focused on using social media to generate leads, having discovery calls, finding the right fit, closing those contracts, and then go with the offer.
Gotcha. And with that, being that social media is the main piece, have you looked into utilizing other ways for a bit more predictability, like running ads or doing
Mhm.
that? What's your
Yeah,
experience
yeah,
been on that side?
yes. So right now we're moving into the ad space. So as you grow the business, so I'm going from a lot of in-person workshops, multi-day, customized consulting over the last couple of years, building this model. And the insight there, the pivot was not getting on a plane and traveling, because I've worked in over 50 countries over the last 25 years working with leaders. And I love travel, but at this point in my career, I want to do this all as most
Yeah.
efficiently as possible. So to do that online, yeah, you have a scaling process. And we have begun with organic first
Mhm.
to work the kinks out of what resonates with the audience and then tweaking the offer because of what we're getting from feedback, and then moving into ads on the social media. And that's going to generate even more for the top of the funnel. But really, the call to action is book a call with us for a discovery call.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. And with that there, I would definitely, as far as what you're doing on the sales process side now, Dan, is this something that you're doing on your own as a solopreneur? Or do you have a sales team and marketing team, a team behind you to really push this forward?
Yeah, that's part of the scaling process. But right now, it's all me and my partner in Europe. So we do all the discovery calls, we design the content, we do the fulfillment, the coaching. And there are steps that are already laid out of when we get to a certain volume, we will move to each successive step. So it's pretty well planned out, and it's working. Now it's working pretty predictably. There were a few moments there where we weren't sure.
Yeah. Talk to me about that a bit. I'd love to get into the mind of a founder and kind of what you're thinking through that. So where are you now? What is the next step for you as far as time and urgency to bring on a team and hit those numbers
Yeah.
they can hit?
Yeah, there's always a sense of urgency, but it's really about perseverance, I think, more than anything else. So shifting to a social media mindset is driving all the initial contact, the top of the funnel lead generation, as opposed to doing a lot of email, outbound messaging and the typical thing.
Right.
So getting in front of the camera was a big, interesting transition for social media and trying to work the kinks out of that. That's a whole story in itself. But after 5 or 6 months of doing it without any leads coming out of that particular channel,
Right.
it was about point where we're saying, hey, if this doesn't work out soon, we're going to be shifting back to the old model.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
almost overnight, after having that conversation with someone, one of the videos blew up. That
Wow.
started to lead to contacts. And since then, which has been about a year and a half now, we've been steadily growing and getting enough leads and sales calls to run the business.
I love it. I absolutely love that. With that there, I think that's the key, right? Is putting the pieces into place and the time that it takes to see success on that front. Obviously, with social media not being successful, are you also looking at outbound email, maybe LinkedIn direct outreach, referrals, the
Yeah.
strategic partnerships needed, and putting the different pieces into place, and then again moving into the ad space now to have more predictability. So, with that
Right.
being said, is the major bottlenecks that you're thinking about, whether it is more predictability on the lead generation side, whether it is bringing on
Yeah.
salespeople to alleviate some of that pressure off of your shoulders. What are you
Right.
thinking about for the rest of 2025 that you have to break through?
Yeah, so right at the point we're about ready to launch ads. So we're going to see if that increases more. The views are pretty good, but conversions into discovery calls, so getting people to take this next step to book a call, making sure there is minimal friction to them doing that. So we'll probably launch a master class here real quickly, give another option to get them a little bit exposure to me and to how I coach. But the ads is one, and the others come and go, but methodically, just looking at the social media metrics, which ones convert. So right now, if you use theory of constraints, the biggest constraint is getting enough people who are booking sales calls. And we're about ready to a point where once we get that to where we want, the biggest constraint is going to be fulfillment time. So that's when I'll start offloading. So I'll offload some of the admin stuff, the responding to emails, the DMs, the reposting on multiple media platforms to a virtual assistant or somebody else. The next step will be to onboard, basically shift everything to group coaching. So I now have one-on-one and group coaching. So I'm going to shift everything to group coaching. Following that, bring on additional coaches. And then after that, salespeople. Because usually in my space, the person who does the coaching, in this case, me, I'm the best salesperson I've taught sales, I've coached salespeople for 28 years, but still, the person who has the content expertise is always the best salesperson for that work. So I'm going to transition those people in last. I'll probably bring on other coaches who are really good leadership coaches before I do that, but that's the general plan.
Absolutely. And incredible, right? To have success for so long and then now transition to a point where you see the use of technology, AI, and really putting yourself in a position where, hey, I've done enough traveling. I know I still want to be successful and scale my business. And this is something that we can do from the
Yeah.
comfort of our home now, which is a
Yeah.
beautiful thing to be able to put forward, and really
Mhm.
appreciate diving into your brain a little bit for our listeners. Paint us the picture here then, Dan. What does the rest of this year really look like for you on paper when you have the plan set out and you got the master class that you're launching,
Yeah.
shift to that group coaching? Are those the laser focuses that you're going to be really looking to push to 2026 with?
Those are a few, because you think of three different categories of time and how it's being used, and time is everything right now. So you have to be incredibly efficient to when you're doing this. So you've got fulfillment, you've got the social media content, the content updates if you need to do that, and the actual discovery calls or the sales calls. So you're dividing your time across those things and using task batching and time blocking to be really efficient how you use your time. But you have to be relentless about never giving up on the cadence, just constantly pushing on it. So in the future, you got to block off that time. Okay, what are the strategic initiatives in the entrepreneurial operating system, EOS? It's the big rocks you got to work on that are out for the next quarter. So it's the ads that we mentioned. It's working towards offloading some things, moving all to group coaching, because that helps you scale significantly if you move it to group coaching only. But when I'm dealing with executives, they typically want, these are CEOs, EVPs, VPs of major corporations and small businesses, some tech startups. They want a lot of personal attention. They like getting the group interaction with like-minded people, but they want a lot of one-on-one. So that's a tricky situation, transitioning the current group into the group only. But we're also building an app. I'm building a Pocket Leadership Coach app that will be closed loop, so it's confidential for the person, but it learns from that person and my content that I feed it. And there'll probably be a TEDx talk down the road and turn the handbook into another book or something like that. So all those things are in the future, but the immediate are the things we talked about, the ads and being able to scale the business by the steps I mentioned.
Incredible. So, I mean, with that, if we were able to bring a genie into the room right now, Dan, snap our fingers and provide you with unlimited resources at your
Mhm.
fingertips, what do you think you're implementing right now for the acceleration of that growth?
Yeah, if I had unlimited resources and time, the immediate bottleneck that's reasonable is that group coaching transition. That's a game changer if you just push it all to group. But really, if I had unlimited resources, I'd funnel it toward getting that app out as fast as possible, because I want to help people become the best leaders they can be, and I can't always be around. So it's about habit building. This is why workshops don't work. You do a workshop, and after 2 or 3 days of working with them, spending time with them, they're excited for 30 days max, but they haven't changed their behavior. So if you don't coach them and stay with them on a regular basis, every other week, sometimes every week, and help them through trying different things, because leadership's all about influence. It's about connecting with people, emotional intelligence, being able to take their perspective and move people in a way that they don't even know they're capable of doing. And being able to do that through whatever style you develop for yourself takes a lot of practice. So I want people to be able to do that, but have it learn from themselves through an AI model, and also provide my content when they want to access it. So I think that app will be huge, and doing a lot more public speaking will get the word out about the business itself, because it's not just about the business. I love flying without a safety net. I retired from the university and jumped into this. I had been doing a lot of in-person training, but this was right from scratch. I believe in the model of burn all the bridges behind you or burn the ships. And the only path forward is forward. You can't go back, right? So you got to make it work. And what I'm trying to do is figure out, okay, what has the biggest impact? So every day I'm looking at my time saying, what's the one thing I can work on the most today that'll move the needle on the results of this organization the most powerfully? And anything that's tedious admin work, push that off to the evening or something.
Absolutely. But with that there, I also want to get a little bit of an inside look into your mind, Dan, and how you're looking at future here. So how do you see the leadership and sales coaching industry as a whole
Yeah.
evolve in the coming years, especially with your science-backed approach, your focus on well-being,
Yeah.
AI developing? What do you see that turning into, and how are you keeping yourself at the forefront of that evolution?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think long term, what my vision is that more people see the leader in themselves than they do currently. So they get their head out of the myth that you have to be assertive, you have to be gregarious, outgoing, extroverted, and socially adept, masterful at that, which we've debunked all that years ago. And we do know that for certain situations and certain kinds of teams and tasks, we need very different kinds of leaders. So I'm a champion of people on the fringe. So people who have something to say, have an expertise, have an ability to inspire other people, even if it's only one other person, to see themselves as being a thought leader, being an actual leader of people, or leading the technology where it's going to go. I like what I see as far as people like Simon Sinek and Brené Brown, who have really good ideas. Brené Brown brought in the idea of vulnerability and the courage to be vulnerable. Simon Sinek is well known for his eternal optimism, and I'm an eternal optimist. Really good entrepreneurs, I think, see opportunities everywhere, even in every challenge. And you see a business opportunity, or you see a relational opportunity, or a chance to get better, but everything. And to get a handle on your mind first, to get a handle on the things that cause us stress, the things that got us to where we are. We think more of it's better, but in reality, it's deterring us and actually slowing us down if we don't get out of our own way. So I help people really deal with things that are limiting beliefs and ideas that are holding themselves back. And it affects how they interact with other people and how they present when they're literally in a tactical situation. And those little moments, leadership's not about something grand and big. And it's really about 100 daily decisions of interacting with people. And the more senior you get in an organization, the fewer really big, impactful decisions you're making. Every week, you might make 2 or 3 major, impactful decisions, but they're out multiple quarters, maybe a year down the road if you're a really senior person. But the lower ranks, you're dealing with a battle every single day, and you're trying to figure out, how do I get my team where it needs to be so that we can achieve this mission? And yeah, and I just love seeing more positive energy, optimism coming into leadership, people being more vulnerable and authentic. Not authentic and, hey, here's everything going on in my life. Authentic and, hey, I'm not exactly sure how we're going to do this, but we'll do this together. Having that attitude that I'm going to be human and honest and saying, we'll figure this out. I trust in you guys to be able to do it, and I'll give you the resources to do it.
Absolutely. Incredible on that front. So with that, I want to take us into the lightning round here, Dan,
Okay.
before wrapping it up for our listeners. So a couple questions here before that. First one I would love to hear from you around is going to be a tool or a resource that you're
Mhm.
utilizing, whether it's a neuroscience insight, a sales strategy from your Navy or academic background, an AI tool you're using. What can you
Mhm.
say has been the biggest game changer for NeeBees and Linchpin skills?
Yeah, as far as a resource, probably connecting with a guy named Taylor Conroy, who runs Leader. He put people on TEDx talks, and he also helps people run businesses like this. So getting insight in with 11 or 12 other like-minded people launching this business in this way, that was radical for me. So a very powerful resource of experts. So it's a mastermind group of people in the same space trying to do the same kind of thing. Probably leveraging everything we know constantly daily about the impact of social media and AI tools.
Mm.
So I think that the AI tools are going to be the thing that's helping everybody out. You can fact check as long as you're good at putting the prompts together correctly and all of that. You really have to be able to tap into your own experience, because everybody can pick up on something that's AI generated these days. But if you can use it as a backbone to make things more efficient and faster for you, you can offload a lot and hone in on your zone of genius, what you're really good at. You want to be doing the things that only you can do. Everything else that you can do, but other people can do it, you want to offload that.
Absolutely. So with that, I just got one more question for you here, Dan.
Go for
That's
it.
going to be around the advice side for our listeners. So what is the best piece of advice that you can offer them before we
Mhm.
wrap up? The ones tuning in right now just heard your incredible journey and everything that you're going to do and the success that you're going to see. What can you
Yeah.
leave them with before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I guess what I would say is perfection is the death of most businesses. Don't try to make it perfect and then launch it on the world. Come up with an idea that you think will fit a need and then iterate. Launch it out there. The market will tell you what it wants and what it doesn't want. And you may be totally wrong at first, but eventually you'll get feedback from the market saying, no, we really know you're an expert in this too. I want this from you. And then you shift and you deliver and you modify as you go. That's one. And the second one is perseverance, sheer determination, being willing to do what no one else is willing to do. So getting up in the morning, having discipline, build a routine to just do what has to be done on the business. If you don't give up, at the point when you give up is when you're about ready to give up is when everybody else gives up. Everybody says this. Alex Shamoji and everybody else says this. And really good entrepreneurs say that's when you buckle down because you will pull ahead. And that's about the point when you start to see things turn around. So perseverance and just let it iterate. Don't try to be perfect. Just connect with your audience and let them feed you what they want from you.
I love it. I love it. With that, right there, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap up another inspiring episode of Founders of Future. And Dan, can't thank you enough for coming on the show, sharing your incredible journey and your insights with myself and the listeners. Clear as day, the passion, the drive, the intelligence is all there, and you're going to see some incredible things moving forward. So thank you so much for the amazing conversation. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And also check out NeeBees at NeeBees.com and Linchpin Skills at LinchpinSkills.com for their coaching resources. And for more resources and insights on us, visit closers.io, where we are dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their growth. Until then, keep climbing, and we will see you on the next one.